XL bully dog owners have less than 2 weeks now to comply with strict new laws which are designed to make the streets safer. From the 31st of December in England and Wales, XL bully-type dogs will have to wear a muzzle in public and they'll have to be kept on a lead. It will also become overnight illegal to buy or breed or sell or rehome or allow them to stray.
Well, this comes ahead of the full ban from the 1st of February next year, where it'll be illegal to own them unless the dog has a certificate of exemption. OK, we're going to be talking to the Chief Veterinary Officer, Professor Christine Middlemiss, in just a couple of seconds. But first, we're joined by Sophie Coulthard, who owns a 2-year-old XL bully who's called Billy, there he is, and campaigns for a group which is challenging this ban, although that looks like that ship's sailed. You've lost that argument. Look, let's cut straight to the chase here, Soph. You say that Billy wouldn't hurt a fly. But with respect, the owners of dogs like that, who have gone on to attack people and seriously hurt them, have said exactly the same thing. Isn't the problem here that that breed is inherently unstable, and when it loses it, it's incredibly dangerous?
I don't think it is, actually, Richard, and I don't think we've seen any proof of that at all. What we have seen is a handful of attacks, and my heart goes out to anybody that's ever experienced a dog attack. But we have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dogs who are well-mannered, have a good temperament, that live in family homes, and their owners have never seen any hint of aggression from their dog. I've certainly never seen anything from mine. He's been well socialised around other animals, around children, but obviously I take precautions as a responsible dog owner. And I think that that's what we need to look at here is where are the issues, and the issues are with responsible dog ownership.
Why have you chosen that particular breed? I mean, there's a huge range of dog breeds available, and, of course, there are mongrel dogs as well. What made you pick that breed?
Well, I did my research with my fiancé, actually. We were looking for a dog that would suit city life and would also be able to handle kind of long hikes in the countryside. And we did a lot of research. I personally grew up with bull breeds, so the look of a bull breed is just my taste. So he has lived up to every expectation that we had of this breed. Obviously, we've had him before a lot of things have happened in the media. So he's just been the perfect family pet. He's everything we could have wanted, and I'm sure that many other XL bully owners feel the same way about their dog.
So you're trying to stop the ban going through because you want a review of this, don't you? What would you like to see then? Because there's no doubt something needs to happen, doesn't it, to stop the dog attacks and also, you know, the number of fatal dog attacks and disfiguring dog attacks that XL bullies have caused. What would you like to have seen instead of what's happening?
Yeah, so what we've actually lodged with the government last week, which is interesting that this push is happening today, is we've served the High Court and the government with papers for a judicial review over the legislation and also for an interim emergency injunction. So, Richard, you mentioned the ship may have sailed, but we are hoping for a Christmas miracle here because hundreds of dogs will be put to sleep on the 1st of January in rescues already, or further dogs may be abandoned if this legislation comes into place. And we don't feel that it's been done in the correct way. Ultimately, the government's own research that they commissioned found that there were better solutions for responsible dog ownership, because we do have a problem. There is a problem. And we have more dogs in the UK than ever before. We're a relatively small country. And if you look on any local social media notice board, you will see incidents of people in parks with all different types of breeds of dogs, where people have let their dog off lead where it shouldn't be off lead, or they've allowed their dog to go and attack another dog when their dog is aggressive. And this is something that we should be tackling as a country, that we've seen other countries successfully tackle. There are various licensing models across many different countries, and we think that they're a good example of how to embrace responsible dog ownership, bring the community together instead of polarising them and driving them apart, and look at the person who is responsible for the animal instead of the animal.
I suppose the elephant in the room here, the big problem is that you have got totally irresponsible owners, and I don't just mean careless because they let them off the lead when they shouldn't, but you've got mostly men who have that breed, and they basically have them as a weapon. They use them as a weapon to intimidate other people and to attack them.
Let's speak now to the Chief Veterinary Officer, Professor Christine Middlemiss, about this. Good morning to you, because I know that you're out doing the rounds and you're talking about this situation this morning. What about that point then that Sophie makes? Because there are still questions about whether this is the right move. You know, it will result in the death of a large number of dogs. And she's making the point that it's actually the irresponsible owners, it's the people behind these dogs rather than the dogs themselves that are causing the problem.
Good morning. So up until 2021, we'd had 3 fatal dog attacks. Since 2021, we've had 23 fatal dog attacks, and XL bullies have been disproportionately involved in those attacks. When they are in a situation where they're being aggressive, they are incredibly powerful dogs. They've got these very strong jaws, and that's why we're taking action to ban them through this legislation. For responsible owners, like we've seen, and I agree, there are many responsible owners, please register for a certificate of exemption and take those actions that we know will help protect the public from the aggression of XL bullies.
But presumably you would like to see this breed phased out completely, wouldn't you?
Yes, because we're seeing this their disproportionate involvement in attacks. And as I say, the whole physicality of them makes it, when they're in those situations, very, very difficult to control, and we need to protect the public.
How are you going to know if everybody has registered who should have done? We know that there's over 4,000 exemption certificates that have been received so far, but do we know how many XL bully dogs there are out there? How many should you be receiving?
So no, we don't specifically know, and that's one of the reasons for having a register, so that we know exactly how many dogs there are and where there are. Animal welfare charities estimate at the moment there's probably about 15,000.
Okay.
As you say, we've got over 4,000 registered. So the message is really encourage those who have not registered, please come forward and do so.
You're just hoping that all those people who have an XL bully or an XL bully type are going to come forward, because there are going to be concerns for those irresponsible owners, which presumably are the ones that you really want to tackle, because they're the ones whose dogs are doing most of the attacking, aren't they? That you will have no idea who they are or where these dogs are.
Well, we'll be working with local authorities and the police and things, because it will become a criminal offence after the 31st of January to own one of these dogs and not have a certificate. So we'll be working with the enforcement authorities and things to take action on the ones that are not registered.
But sorry to be cynical, but it just makes you wonder if any policeman who's on patrol, that's a rare enough event as it is anyway, strolling down the street is going to stop somebody who's walking a dog that looks like an XL bully and ask for proof of certification. They're not going to do it, are they? This law is going to be enacted probably after there's been an attack.
The police and local authorities have been very involved with us in operationalising this legislation and to make it work on the ground. We all want to see a reduction in these attacks, and so we're working together in this process where genuine owners can keep their XL bullies, but we are able to work and support those that aren't registered and remove them.
Just finally, it's a general point. It's commonly said and reported that this breed is bred to be aggressive. What's that process? How has that happened? Basically, are breeders, going back over the last few years, looking at a dog which has displayed aggressive behaviour and thinking, right, I'm going to mate that with a bitch which has also displayed aggressive behaviour, so we up the level of aggression? Is that how it works?
Potentially, yes. This is not a breed recognised by the Kennel Club, doesn't have specific breed standards. People mate the dogs, as you say, to get the breed priorities that they want. They're very physical, strong dogs. And so you have to assume that that's how they have come about in the first place. There seemed to be a market for them, and breeders have responded to that. OK, well, less than 2 weeks to go. Thank you for coming on, both of you, and talking about it.
Yes,
we
it's the
appreciate
Chief Veterinary Officer, Professor Christine Middlemiss, and also thank you, Sophie Coulthard, there with her dog, Billy.